Are satanic Nazis working with the FBI? And is the FBI specifically targeting white-only January 6th protesters? Find out next in episode 169 of American Reveille with James Lane. Ladies and gentlemen, James Lane here. This is the American Reveille, episode 169. How's everybody doing this fine Sunday? I know we're coming a little bit later than 4 p.m. today. I did the best that I could, but, stuff happens. Things get backed up. I'm only one man on a mission, ladies and gentlemen. And my mission today is to expose this neo-Nazi conspiracy, this satanic neo-Nazi conspiracy. They're working with the FBI. The FBI is targeting white-only January 6th protesters. It's very strange indeed. It makes me wonder if there's some sort of connection, if this whole white supremacy threat is created by the FBI. Well, I have a Gab account, folks, and I found a whole bunch of these POS neo-Nazis on Gab, and they and I had a conversation, would you say? Maybe a confrontation. Either way, it prompted me to write a hell of an article on it. You can find that article on AmericanReveille.com, REVEILLE.com, and it's right there on the top. Look, take a look right here. I'll show you. Trump supporter exposes Nazi underworld on Gab.com. You can go there and check it out, or you can just wait because we're going to go through it at the end of this podcast. But before we do that, I'm going to go through some court docs on nationalfile.com talking about neo-Nazi satanic sect leaders outed as FBI informants since 2003. They were paid over $140,000 by the U.S. government. Beyond that, you've got Deputy Ray in a scandal. He's admitting that the FBI ended its black extremism category and replaced it with a program targeting the white January 6th protesters. I am confused, ladies and gentlemen. I am so confused because I don't understand if they are working with Nazis, satanic Nazis. Well, then why are they targeting white people? Unless none of these definitions mean anything anymore, if the FBI doesn't have any self-respect or honor, which we know they don't, and the neo-Nazis, they're just a bunch of bags of hot wind, so you can't take anything they say seriously. I mean, they get beat down by Antifa half the time, and Antifa and the Nazis, they have so much in common. They really, really do, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But this crap right here, this FBI director, all right, changing the words to target white people, what it makes me feel like the FBI or some sort of government agency propagates, keeps funded, keeps these groups alive, keeps these white supremacy cells alive as a scapegoat. Right? We know that there are way bigger threats, especially with what's happened in Afghanistan, now with the rejuvenation and rise of Al-Qaeda, of ISIS-K, whatever you want to call them, of the Taliban, of all of these terrorist harboring groups, and you've got the southern border wide open, tons of terrorists pouring in, already here, waiting for the call. Trust me. All right, trust me, as you'll find out later in the show, the white supremacists on Gab are out of their minds. They're out of their minds, but it's still very worrying that our Federal Bureau of Investigation may be working with neo-Nazis, satanic neo-Nazis, and you'll see, it's crazy. These Nazis, they pretend, they hide behind the veil of Jesus Christ. All right. They sit there and they say they're soldiers of Christ. They believe in God. They believe in the Bible. But white people and white dominance and Jews, and they're all the devil, just like Bobby Boucher's mom would say in The Waterboy. It's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff. You'll see. We'll get there. Do me a favor first, guys. Please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We are so censored. We are so shadow banned. I don't know where you're seeing this. You could be seeing it on Gab TV. You could be seeing it on Odyssey, Rumble. One of the few people seeing it on YouTube, since YouTube likes to make sure we get nowhere. Same with Facebook. They like to make sure we get nowhere as well. But people do love what we're doing. And if you just keep listening, you just keep reading our articles, you will want to be a part of the American Reveille movement too. All right, guys? So please do me a favor. Like I said, like, subscribe, share, leave your comments, subscribe to the newsletter, go to AmericanReveille.com. There's a big green button right there. It's right on the main page that says sign up, folks. If you could sign up for the newsletter, you will always get the latest and greatest updates from AmericanReveille.com, REVEILLE.com. You'll know when our podcasts come out. You'll know when our new articles release, our blogs drop, and you'll get the latest news from what we are trying to do in the space of conservative media. Folks, I would really, really, really also appreciate it if you could. We don't have any sponsors anymore. Our distribution has been cut. Do me a favor. Go to the support us tab on AmericanReveille.com, and if you'd like to be a part and help out and help get the word around, you can always donate a couple dollars to the cause. We are trying to upgrade the website. We are trying to distribute our media publication across the United States. We need your help to make that a reality. The money issue has become an issue. We were doing well. We were on the track. We have an awesome WordPress site that's just as good as Epic Times' site. But we couldn't get it past 75% done because the money ran out, because the censorship kicked up. A couple months ago, they destroyed our reach. Tens of thousands of people were listening to the American Reveille podcast through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all these different groups. They were watching on YouTube, watching on Rumble, watching all over the place. And then all of a sudden, poof, the big tech oligarchs laid the smack down on American Reveille and cut everything by like 90%. So you guys sharing, you guys signing up for the newsletter, you guys donating, you guys just spreading the word of the American Reveille, telling people about what we do is a gigantic help, a huge blessing, and we greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, guys? So look, I want to show you these court docs. I want to show you this over on nationalfile.com. Court docs. Neo-Nazi satanic sect leader outed as FBI informant since 2003. They were paid over $140,000 by the U.S. government. This is by Andrew White. It says the FBI has some splaining to do, Lucy. And I agree. I really, really don't feel comfortable with the government or any agency within the government working with satanic people, especially neo-Nazis. All right? Each of them are bad. Together, it's like the Megazord. All right? It's like an evil Megazord from the Power Rangers. It just feels more like the Power D Rangers. Anyway, let's do some reading. A court filing in the case of a high-profile neo-Nazi group member has ousted Joshua Caleb Sutter as a longtime informant for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Sutter, the publisher of Martinet Press, is allegedly an Atomwaffen member, that's a tongue twister, an Atomwaffen member and key figure in the satanic group known as the 09A Temple of Blood, according to investigative reporter Ali Winston. Investigative reporter Ali Winston has been covering the case against Caleb Cole, an alleged Atomwaffen member who was charged with leading a conspiracy to intimidate reporters across the United States with other group members. All of them have entered guilty pleas except Cole, according to Winston. In what Winston described as a remarkable filing from Cole's case, it was revealed it was revealed that Joshua Caleb Sutter, an Adam Waffen member, Satanic 09 Temple of Blood leader, and Satanic book publisher, is undoubtedly an FBI informant, and has been since 2003, according to documents. Quote, Sutter isn't identified by name, but it's undoubtedly him. Martinet Press publishes Order of Nine Angels texts and has radicalized countless youth in neo-fascist satanic practices. He has that aforementioned 03 conviction for trying to sell a firearm with an obliterated serial. Winston explained. The promotion of the Satanic Temple of Blood ideology, according to journalist Jake Hanrahan, has connections to a series of murders in Great Britain. This is potentially massive. It's been confirmed in court documents that Joshua Sutter, one of the Atomwaffen leaders and one of the biggest 09A proponents, is an FBI informant. Great. So the FBI is working with satanic cult leaders. All right? So I wonder why. I wonder what good it does. Are they trying to do something good? Are they trying to stop satanic neo-Nazis? Or are they funding? Are they propagating? Are they helping neo-Nazis? Whatever it is, the outcome is probably something much more sinister. The FBI was paying Sutter as he was doing this kind of shit. It would be interesting to know if the $200,000 plus he was paid contributed directly to the promotion of his totalitarian occultist ideology. Great. Open Democracy reported that Adam Waffen's required reading materials includes the work Liber 333 and Iron Gates, both of which were authored by Sutter and released by Martinet Press. Bottom line is this. Martinet Press has been essentially bankrolled by the feds, pumping out a steady stream of extremist literature. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, Martinet Press is run by Atomwaffen. Gosh, that's so hard to say. Say that 10 times fast. Atomwaffen, 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 Atomwaffen. These guys are crazy. Martinet Press is run by Atomwaffen member Joshua Caleb Sutter, a former member of Aryan Nations. He and his wife, Jillian Hoy, lead Temple of Blood, an esoteric satanist group that has deified many of the world's most brutal and murderous authoritarian dictators. Temple of Blood is an affiliated sect of an international umbrella group known as 09A, not 09A, the Order of Nine Angels. 09A was started in England in the 1960s. This stuff goes way back, man. The enigmatic satanic occult group's most extreme adherents promote human sacrifice, Nazism, fascism, and Aryan myths. And it has reportedly praised Adolf Hitler and Osama bin Laden. You see, these people have so much more in common with the left than we all realize. They really, really, really do. I'm not going to play this video because I'm not going to show you or propagate or promote or watch a bunch of satanic people chanting. That's what this video is. It says, quote, Liber 333 is a satanic manual which guides neo-Nazis who fantasize about evolving into a new form of vampiric Aryan predator and openly calls for infiltrating entities with sinister potential such as the military, the police, religious, or right-wing groups, while Iron Gates is sci-fi gore that tells the story of a bloodthirsty death cult and contains graphic descriptions of rape, torture, and murder. That's disgusting. According to the court filing, alleged FBI informant and devout Satanist, alleged FBI informant and devout Satanist Sutter earned more than $140,000 while working for the U.S. government. Associate editor for Chronicles magazine, Pedro Gonzalez, said, quote, "Thank you, FBI. Very cool of you to have Moloch worshippers on your payroll," in reaction to the developments. That is horrible. It's true. It's disgusting. But the government is paying devil-worshipping neo-Nazis. That's where some of our taxpayer dollars are going to. It's going to the pockets of pathetic, pea-brained, devil-worshipping, most likely Democrats, but devil-worshipping neo-Nazis. It's terrible. The revelations raise questions concerning the nature of FBI undercover operations, as they seem to be funding satanic cults and literatures, apparently influencing and involving themselves with individuals who commit acts of evil in the name of satanic neo-Nazi ideological extremism, as was noted by the SPLC, Sutter, and TOB's texts helped turn the Atomwaffen division toward a more sinister direction. Infighting ensued through 2018, with some members leaving in disgust over the group's welcoming stance on Satanism, Temple of Blood, and the turn towards violence as an end in itself. So, we have direct connection between Nazis, satanic cults, and the FBI. Creepy, deepy, disgusting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Disgusting stuff. But it goes even further. It goes even further because when you know, right, when you know that the FBI is working with devil worshippers, devil-worshipping Nazis, all right? I'm starting to sound like Alex Jones, but this stuff is true. When they're working with devil-worshipping Nazis and then they're targeting Trump supporters, right? The FBI is targeting Trump supporters. It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what the real truth is. You see, the left, they love to try to say and put together some false narrative that the right is full of Nazis, that the MAGA movement is a bunch of Nazis. But that's farthest from the truth. You see, these Nazis, these devil-worshipping Nazis, they have so much more in common with the left than most people realize. And like I said, I will expose that. I expose it in the article that I wrote, and we're going to read through it at the end of this podcast. But what you need to know is that these people parade around as Christians. These Nazis parade around as Christians because deception is in the Satanist playbook. So you've got the FBI working with satanic neo-Nazis to target actual white people from January 6th. All right? To actually target people that are being oppressed from January 6th. I'll say it. Nobody had a weapon on January 6th. Do I agree with what happened? Do I agree with the storming of the Capitol? No. But do I agree with the murder of Ashley Babbitt? Hell no. Do I agree with hundreds of people getting arrested and never being charged with, what is it, like 100 people trapped right now with no charges filed against them in prisons? They had no weapons. Nothing happened. It was a bunch of freaking dumb people parading around. All right. I'm only going to call them dumb people because at the minimum, they would have known they would have gotten charged with federal trespassing. But there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes into this. A lot of the videos where cops are letting the people in where there was nothing put in place. Nancy Pelosi was in charge of the security. There was no security. They were underprepared. And the FBI, crazy enough, we've heard this before time and time again, the FBI had warned and had information that something could have happened on January 6th. So what the hell is going on behind the scenes? Now that you know that the FBI works with neo-Nazis, all right, neo-Nazis that are satanic, that have a lot in common with the left, it makes much more sense that they would be targeting white people because they're not actually white supremacists. They're anarchists. They're destroyers. They're devil worshippers. They want to see everything burn down. And for some reason, our government seems to as well. This is also a national file. Deputy Ray, in sordid scandal, admitted that FBI ended its black extremism category and replaced it with program targeting white January 6th protesters. This is by Patrick Howley, and we take a read below. Jill C. Tyson, a top deputy to FBI Director Christopher Wray, who played a key role in getting Wray confirmed to the FBI's top post, admitted that the FBI totally deleted the entire, quote, black identity extremism category for domestic terrorism after consultations with the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement, also known as NOBLE, an organization funded by, Coca-Cola and Walmart, among others. The FBI then replaced the category with a new label, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism, RMVE, which refers to people that Tyson refers to as, quote, extremists who advocate violence in furtherance of a perceived superiority of the white race, end quote. According to Jill C. Tyson's letter to Democrat Congressman Benny G. Thompson, chairman of the Committee on Homeland Security, and Democrat Congressman Cedric Richmond, Tyson wrote her 2020 letter to the Democrats just 4 days after George Floyd's death. At the beginning of a nationwide black riots when an FBI, quote, black identity extremism program might have come in handy. That is quite a coincidence that she'd get rid of the black identity extremism program right after George Floyd's death and right as these riots were going on. You see, white extremism does exist, but black extremism does as well. All kinds of extremism exists, and it goes across color and creed. Ladies and gentlemen, when you remove one and put another, and put it in these terms where she defines it as a superiority of the white race, it basically puts in the FBI's codex, in writing, it says that white people are racist and can commit these hate crimes, can commit these extremist acts of terrorism, but no one else can. All right? It's because she called out white people. I'm not defending white extremism. I'm condemning all extremism. And that's what she should be doing as well. That did not happen. The RMVE label is now being used to target January 6th election integrity protesters from the U.S. Capitol, according to a report funded by the Department of Homeland Security that urges Congress and the federal government to create crimes of domestic terrorism in response to January 6th. So who is Jill C. Tyson, the woman who revealed the FBI's anti-white policy? Jill C. Tyson is Ray's Deputy Director for Congressional Affairs. She previously worked in the DOJ's Legislative Affairs Department and on Capitol Hill, and she is seen as an instrumental force who lobbied for Ray's confirmation to the FBI director job. Jill C. Tyson stands accused of having an inappropriate workplace romance. A summer 2021 report from DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz concluded that the assistant director was engaged in a romantic relationship with a subordinate and failed to timely report the relationship, which is in violation of the FBI policy. The Horowitz report also found that the assistant director allowed the relationship to negatively affect and appropriate and professional superior subordinate, let me read that again. The Horowitz report, quote, also found that the assistant director allowed the relationship to negatively affect an appropriate and professional superior subordinate relationship and to disrupt the workplace by interfering with the ability of the other FBI employees to complete their work, and that the assistant director participated in a hiring or organizational decision involving the subordinate, all in violation of FBI policies. So there goes her credibility. Here's Jill Tyson's letter to the Homeland Security Committee. Quote, this responds to your letter, dated December 17th, 2019, to the Federal Bureau of FBI of Investigation regarding racially and ethnically motivated violent extremism. We apologize for the delay in responding to your letter. In late 2017, the FBI discontinued using the term Black Identity Extremism. As a result, the FBI Consolidated Strategy Guide for fiscal year 2020 does not use that term, and the only reference to the term in the fiscal year 2019 Consolidated Strategy Guide is a footnote indicating that the term is no longer utilized by the FBI. As detailed below, the FBI has updated its terminology and currently uses the term racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism. The FBI continually challenges, reviews, and evaluates intelligence to ensure the appropriate identification and categorization of each threat. This is an iterative process based on analysis of a threat's impact and mitigation efforts. and is refreshed annually. During the annual review in 2018, the FBI's Counterterrorism Division elected to revise the categories of domestic terrorism threats emanating from those who use or promote violence to further one of many ideologies rooted in racial bias. The term racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism came about as a result of intelligence analysts identifying similar characteristics in the driving factors of the threat actors involved across ideological lines. Discussions with special agents in charge and subject matter experts from the FBI field offices across the country, combined with input from management at FBI headquarters, ultimately led the FBI to this decision. As such, for the last 2 years, the FBI has described domestic terrorism threat actors motivated by an ideological justification for violence related to race and ethnicity as RMVEs. The FBI has considered and continues to consider violent extremism motivated by any racial bias a high priority. In fact, this threat is one the FBI considers among the most serious terrorism threats posed to the United States. Of note, in early 2019, the FBI engaged directly with the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executive Board to explain the FBI's internal review process that resulted in the terminology change and to request their feedback as critical law enforcement partners. One of the FBI's senior executives later spoke at a Nobel conference regarding these updated threat categories. The FBI also offered to provide a similar briefing to the Congressional Black Caucus in early 2019. The FBI believes RMVE is an appropriate term because it focuses on violence and motivation in order to label the threat, rather than any First Amendment protected activity. You see, they don't mention race there. That shows that she's excusing herself for saying that this is all about white people. There can be extremism. Again, extremism can come from any race. It goes across race. It goes across creed. Extremism is about hate. All right. And hate can come from any race, any color. And even though RMVE sounds like that, she herself has specifically stated that it is only intended to be talking about white people. All right. Do I agree with the removal of a black extremism division? Sure. But I agree that it should be removed only if RMVE, all right, only if RMVE applies across the board to every race, religion, and creed, all right? True equality. Not this equity crap that the left talks about, not this biased judgment that spews from the left, which is no wonder why they work with Satanic Neo-Nazis, because they're just like the left. You'll see. Trust me. They're just like the left. That's why the FBI works with neo-Nazis. Look at this. Look at this behavior. I think there's a hidden motivation. I think there's a secret agenda that these neo-Nazis have. I don't think it's white supremacy. I think that it's all pretend, that white supremacy nonsense is a front. It's some sort of government-created plague to blame stuff on. It's a scapegoat. So what is the real motivation? All right, what we could put some clues together. They hide behind Christ. They hide in the shadows and spew hate and blame others. They blame Jews. They blame black people. They blame all kinds of people for their misfortune, for their misguided psychotic beliefs. I think it's all about Satan. I think these neo-Nazis are Satanists. Maybe the FBI is full of Satanists. Maybe the left, the neo-Nazis, the FBI, they're all Satanists. I think that's highly plausible. That's something we should be talking about, something we should be thinking about. Analysis and records demonstrate that the vast majority are racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists who advocate violence in furtherance of a perceived superiority of the white race. That is what she's saying. She's saying the FBI executives and subject matter experts have noted in congressional briefings and hearings that more than half of the FBI's domestic terrorism investigations are RMVE cases. And she's saying that the analysis says that these are all coming from white nationalists. But if they're funding the white nationalists, who's really creating the problem? Again, They're one and the same as one, working together, the FBI, the white supremacists, these Nazis. Is it all just to propagate the left's false narrative that MAGA movement, Trump supporters, and white supremacists are the same? Because that's BS. All right? MAGA movement, Jewish, Christian, Catholic, Muslim, whatever it is, MAGA movement members, Trump supporters, they are not racists. They are not white supremacists. They are not Nazis. Nazis and the FBI and the left, they're all working together. The right, we're not working with Nazis. So they're literally gaslighting again, literally creating a false narrative again on the left, literally doing something themselves and then blaming it on the right, saying that the right are racist, the right are Nazis, Trump supporters are Nazis. They say that all the time while they have their hands in the pockets of the Nazis. They're literally puppeting the Nazis on the left. The left-wing FBI is dancing with the devil, ladies and gentlemen. They're dancing with the devil. It says that all threat categories, the FBI continually assesses and evaluates trends in the motivations and targets of like-minded threat actors that they are funding. It says in the first quarter of 2020, half of the FBI's domestic terrorism, like I said before, they were racially or ethnically motivated, violent extremists. They're saying it's coming from the white race. Well, who is funding these white supremacists? The FBI seems to be. It says this keeps the FBI agile in the critical effort to identify domestic terrorists and their mobilization to violence, and helps the organization to look beyond the current threat with the goal of preventing future threats. Preventing all actions of terrorism against the homeland remains the FBI's #1 priority. The FBI commits to continuing to confront the threat posed by all terrorism from any place by any actor with determination and dedication to the FBI's mission to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution of the United States. Thank you for your support of the FBI, its mission, and its people. That's what I call a shit sandwich, ladies and gentlemen. If you've ever worked in a management position or been in a leadership position, they say in order to get something harsh for somebody to swallow, some kind of critique, some sort of write up something through, you put something that seems nice at the top, you put the bad stuff in the middle, and something that seems nice on the bottom. It's a shit sandwich. When you read through her letter, it talks about how the FBI is all about making this fair across the board so that we can go against extremism. Rah, rah, all extremism is bad. And then when you get down far enough, all that extremism comes from white people. Huh? Well, what happened to all the other extremism? Don't worry about the other extremism. Don't worry about the terrorists pouring through the border. Don't worry about hate crimes that go black to white or black on Asian hate crimes. Don't worry about hate crimes against Jews from other people. Don't worry about any other hate crimes. Just worry about white nationalists attacking Black Lives Matter. That doesn't make sense because most of these Nazis, I just see them hiding in the shadows. They never come out of the bushes. They're terrified to be confronted about their psychotic ideology. But now that we know this ideology is funded and paid for by the left and by the FBI, we can see that they're one and all, one and the same. It seems that the FBI, the U.S. government, they're all protecting. They're protecting some ideology, some vision they have of the future by only attacking certain people while protecting others. And some of the people they're protecting are vile and terrorist in nature. All right? They're protecting extremist terrorists from the Middle East, from far left groups like Antifa and Black Lives Matters. You should go after all extremists. You should go after neo-Nazis. You should go after white extremists. You should go after Catholic extremists, Jewish extremists, Al-Qaeda extremists. Extremists, go after them. But it's not just one, all right? It's not just the white race, and it's okay to say that. That doesn't make you a white nationalist. White nationalists, these Nazis, these satanic Nazis, they're disgusting people. They hate everybody. They literally hate everybody. That's different. That is different than saying that things should be fair across the board. All right. And you all need to have some balls, put on your big boy and big girl pants and panties and little underwears, your whitey tighties. And you need to express the truth to the world. Express the truth to your neighbor. Express the truth at your workplace as best you can. You need to spread the MAGA movement, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff is a distraction. All right. When the left uses this as ammunition against us, never apologize. Give them the finger and fight back. All right. This is just a bunch of horrible, horrible stuff here. All right. It's a bunch of horrible stuff. There's a connection between the FBI and neo-Nazis. All right. The left, they like to say that Trump supporters and people on the right are neo-Nazis, but that's impossible. That's impossible. It wouldn't work because the neo-Nazis, like I said before, have much more in common with the left. They have much more in common with the extremes of the left, with the AOCs, the Rashida Tlaibs, and the squads. All right. When I was trying to get away from the censorship, I went on the platform Gab. And I found a bunch of neo-Nazis there. I found a bunch of them. And I wrote an article called Trump Supporter Exposes Nazi Underworld on Gab.com. You can go to AmericanReveille.com, Reveille, right now. And you can find it right on the front page where the articles are. Trump Supporter Exposes Nazi Underworld on Gab.com. I just find it interesting because talking to these actual Nazis proves the articles that I just read to you true. All right. Fighting with, dealing with, and being, having hate spewed upon me by these actual neo-Nazis on Gab made me understand how the left, how the FBI, how the government could be working with such vile demons. Because they're all vile demons. They're all truly walking with Satan, ladies and gentlemen. Truly, truly, truly. All right. So this is Trump Supporter Exposes Nazi Underworld on Gab.com by James Lane, CEO and head Jew for American Reveille, LLC. As a fiscal and social conservative, I found myself in a pretty interesting and unwanted position around the 2020 November presidential elections. I'm a Trump supporter, and I own a free speech publication that allows many different people to express their feelings, beliefs, and opinions. This publication and my promotion of it did not sit well with the oligarchs holding the levers of free speech. My accounts were shadow banned, my views on YouTube removed, my distribution on Facebook eradicated, and the list goes on. Like many of you, I went on an exodus from mainstream social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter, searching for greener pastures, a place where I could speak freely and not find myself shadow banned. Remember, I told you I run a free speech publication, but let me make something absolutely clear. I promote and support free speech, but I do not condone hate speech. They say the grass isn't always greener on the other side. In this case, the other side, I discovered, is the social network Gab. There's a social network out there that promises a safe haven for free speech, yet if you dig deep enough, you may just come to find its dirty underwear drawer. This is a deep-seated infestation of modern neo-Nazis hiding behind a fringe belief that they're doing Jesus Christ's work. That's right, you heard me correct. Just as BLM, Antifa, and the collective left manipulate history, definitions, and religion, so too do these Gab Nazis. They are only somewhat opposed to each other and operate in a much similar fashion. See, 2 and 2 is starting to come together. You can see how the left, how Black Lives Matter, how Antifa, how neo-Nazis are similar in nature. The goal of this article isn't just to expose the miles of hate speech I've experienced as a Jew on Gab, but to paint a clear differentiation between alt-right neo-Nazis, and I put big quotes on that because that's what the left calls them, and Trump-supporting conservatives, libertarians, and the like, bombarded by Nazi hate on Gab. I've learned a few things that are not expressed through mainstream media. Number one, Actual neo-Nazis, white supremacists, do not support the MAGA movement or Donald Trump because we support Israel. Nazis obviously do not support Israel. 2. Actual neo-Nazis twist facts and have written their own version of history they use to try and shut down conversation on their twisted belief system. They distribute this propaganda through memes and underground videos similar to the extreme progressive left. And 3, actual neo-Nazis have more in common with AOC, Rashida Tlaib, and the far left squad. They're pro-Palestine, they're anti-Israel, they're pro-violence, pro-socialism, and they base their construct of reality on critical race. The far left uses their warped view of academia as their basis for justification, whereas the neo-Nazis use their warped view of Christ and the Bible as theirs. All right? The problem on the right stems from mainstream media control over the distribution of communication. They control and manipulate the narrative and have spent countless time and money on convincing everyday average people that Trump supporters are Nazis. This is the farthest thing from the truth. And as I mentioned above, neo-Nazis are not Trump supporters. They hate Donald Trump with a passion, and they loathe the MAGA movement. I said this before, I'll say it again. Trump and Trump supporters support Israel. So no Nazis can be Trump supporters. No Nazis can be in the MAGA movement because they do not support Israel. They hate anything that supports Israel. Plain and simple. I'm going to show you some of this hate and some of this proof. Look, 5 Solas at Psychopomp, all right, on Gab. He mentioned me, tagged Kamala for Prez and Akira6968 and at A, which is Andrew Torba. All right. He is the owner of Gab. Wait. The MAGA crowd is anti-Semitic. They worship a guy who shills Israel nonstop and lauds the fact that he married his Gentile daughter off to a Shabab Jew. Most of them consider the Jews to be God's chosen and also spend their day off in Zionist churches being good Shabbos Goyim. Did you actually think that the responses to this idiot that you were reading were from the MAGA crowd? LOL, you poor, unenlightened fool. Hell, I wish that all the MAGA peds acted and believed this way. He's showing us, as a Nazi, that they hate the MAGA movement. These are real Nazis. MAGA movement members support Israel. They are not a part of the neo-Nazis. You may be wondering how I got all this information on neo-Nazis, and the answer is quite simple. I called out Andrew Torba at A, he's the CEO of Gab, and I called him out for what I considered hypocrisy in moderation practices. The optics on this don't look very good. The perception that I called out the big boss and his underlings attacked me. So here's what happened. The other night, Andrew Torba began preaching about how moderators take a strong stance against Fed posting and the threats of violence. While I agree with this sentiment, I found it largely hypocritical, as Gab has a history of selectively moderating while claiming to be a free speech platform. So what did I do? I responded in a comment stating that I've been threatened multiple times by anti-Semitic Nazis, and while they shouldn't be moderated, maybe they need their own corner on Gab since they spread harmful hate speech and violence. Now, I will say that my Gab profile mentions that I will block, expose, and dox anti-Semitic Nazis. Now, do I dox people for real? No, not at all. But I do find that this helps ruffle their little Nazi feathers, and since they like to attack en masse, I find it to be a fair defensive statement, just to rile them up a little bit. When fighting Nazis, all is fair in love and war. Here are a few of the many examples of hate speech I encountered, as hundreds of Nazis came to the defense of Andrew Torba and attacked me for being a Jew and a Trump supporter. I put a parental warning on here, and I'm going to say it out loud. These posts are extremely hateful and explicit, and they're not suitable for children. It applies to all the posts in here forward. I'm going to read them. I'm going to read them in their explicitity, how would I say that? Explicitity or explicitiveness? Either way, it's pretty gnarly stuff. You wouldn't want your boss or your kids to hear it, so I'm going to warn you now. I'm going to be saying these words out loud. All right, so this is from Star Prophet at R7 Booster from Gab, tagging Subtle Energy over 9000 and Vanderfrank and Proust. What a garbage article, and you spammed it to every group. You people are cancer. What did you expect from grifting vampires like at American_Reveille? And look at these. If you're listening, you won't see them. I'll describe them to you. He's posted all of these different people as Nazi vampires. All right, not Nazi vampires, excuse me, as Jewish vampires. I think of the Nazis as vampires, so that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. But he's literally put vampire teeth in these folks. He's got a satanic vampire-looking depiction of a Jew. It's pretty racist stuff. Nuclear Hunter Killer Sub at Nuclear Hunter Killer Sub posted this, tagged a bunch of people. Were you born a Jew cuck? When did you transition? That's nice. VP Hagar at Early Anthro. He mentions, shut the fuck up, Jew. No wonder you were getting death threats. You are an insufferable little bitch. I hope someone follows through. Very, very nice, VP Hagar. Very nice. Do you kiss your mother with that mouth? Americano. Well, he probably does because he sounds inbred. Americano. He is at Sanctus Crusader. He mentions, you can't be white and Jewish. You're just a Jewish piece of shit that will burn in hell for being against God. If you're listening and you want to see the proof, I've put them all on this article. You can go to AmericanReveille.com, Reveille, and look for the article there. You can come watch on I'm going to literally post this on Gab itself. It'll be on Rumble. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on BitChute. It'll be on Facebook video. It'll be all over the place. You can come here and you can watch and you can see all of these posts and see that they're real and they're unedited. This is from Trevor Goodchild at Trevor Goodchild. That's so weird. I've been on this platform for over 4 years. I've never seen a single anti-Semite. We do seem to have a bunch of whiny, oven-dodging kikes, however. Excuse me, oven-dodging kikes, however. It's funny, I haven't been called a kike since grade school, but these people keep it fresh and alive. These hateful, sad people. I almost feel bad. I almost feel bad for them because how... like, life has to be so miserable and depressing and alone to have this type of feeling, to feel this type of hate towards something. You must be so far away from God. You must be so down in the dirt that the heaviness of this life must feel like a plague upon you. You know, I feel so bad for these people. At the same time, they're pretty evil pieces of shit, too. Anti-Loxus Superstar. He mentions, oh no, the inbred anti-white Jew is going to write an article about people he doesn't like on the internet. Shit like this is why people are anti-Semitic. No one is afraid of you faggots anymore. Put me in the screen cap, faggot. Well, sir, you are in the screen cap. Denise the Celt. A woman mentions, you are not white, you are a kike, a genetic demon. Ooh, big words. That's Denise the Celt, at Denise the Celt. She's replying to me at First Faction, at Bix Nude Redux, and at Nordic Wolf, a bunch of Nazi bitches that are attacking me at American_Reveille on gab.com. Joey Cuervo at Tren Enthusiast, huh? He says, you don't get to call yourself an American, you fucking kike. Great big educated words from great big-minded educated people there on the left, because after reading about the FBI working with Satanic Neo-Nazis and reading about what the FBI is doing, how they're targeting white people, I believe that these Nazis are actually working on the left. They're lefties. They're far left extremists. They might have some different end goals in mind, but I don't think that's their real motivation, like I said earlier in the podcast. As you can see, the amount of hate contained in these sad, misguided, Smeagol-like individuals is astonishing. Even more astonishing is the false connection that the mainstream media has built between the tens of millions of proud MAGA Trump supporters and the small, pathetic fringe groups of neo-Nazis that reside in the pocketed anus of this great nation. They literally operate on a made-up history based upon made-up facts and are no better than the terror organization BLM. But they have much less funding, of course. Modern neo-Nazis are practically live-action role players, LARPers, sitting behind a keyboard and hiding behind their version of Christ. Black Lives Matter is famous for taking historical data and twisting the facts in their favor, from police shootings to the definition of racism and even the entirety of U.S. history. BLM finds some way to misrepresent and misconstrue the truth to their own benefit. Gab Nazis, they do the same thing. They are just way inferior at doing it. This is from Wanderer's Choice, at Wanderers_choice on Gab. Bullshit. White folks didn't invite all these non-whites into our country to hate us because they couldn't keep up in a society built for high IQ Europeans. Jews did. The Hart-Celler Act was a Jewish endeavor, and the media is owned by Jews that spew hate against whites every day. If they reported things correctly, all of the black-on-white violence things would turn around quick enough. Fuck off with your anti-white narrative. He tagged at Lodi Silverado and at 9 to 5 Schlub and at Shotgun Mouthwash and posted memes and hate websites as actual factual data and historical knowledge. So again, like I said before, using memes, using non-factual history, using a bunch of hearsay to try to support their own psychotic narrative. This is Nordic Wolf. It's Houston Trail at Mr. Turner Diary, National Socialist. We're conservative, liberal, reasonable, and honorable. What they call conservative and liberals today are all left-wing extremist Jew cockwashers, also known as Stockholm Syndrome, caused by 75 years of Holocaust lies. That's out of somewhere in the Twilight Zone. There's a Holocaust denier right there. Wow. Cincinnatus. I wonder where Cincinnatus lives. Cincinnatus at Cincinnatus_77 says, Kike, I know you Jews like to project that constantly. But according to genetic studies. Now, I want you to know that the website that he used to cite his data is from jewishgeneticdiseases.org. So you know it's legitimate. Wink, wink. But according to genetic studies, whites are not inbred. In fact, they have very healthy genetics. You kikes, on the other hand, are highly inbred. Your people, as a lame attempt to preserve bloodlines, in effect destroyed those bloodlines through consanguineous marriages, cousin fucking, which they engaged in for eons. You kikes know this about your people, which is why you try to project it onto the southern whites. But it's a farce. Read below for details. Look at this huge list of recessive incest. You disgusting Ashkenazi are from a tiny group of cousin fucking retards as described in this article. And then he cites the left-wing LA Times. So if the Jews run the LA Times, doesn't that make you working for them by using their own article to promote your false narrative? Again, they're twisting stuff. They're just like the left, like BLM, like Antifa, like all of these extreme left AOCs, Rashida Tlaib's. They are the same. This is from N. Aryaskov. N. Aryaskov, at N. Aryaskov. All right, this one's great. Bear with me. Because, James, you are another James Lame. Oh, I haven't heard that since grade school. And because American Reveille, wake up, the world wakes up against the Jewish lies and genocide. Like, imagine this person, like, on the toilet, like, clenching with rage. The world wakes up against the Jewish lies and genocide. How I possibly know? 1. Okay, you ready? The Holocaust was invented by the Jews to blackmail for money, steal money and properties, and advance in pharma and media positions. 2, George Soros invests mainly to kill whites. Proven fact. I hate George Soros. We hate George Soros on the right. But because you hate George Soros, the left then gets to pretend that you are somehow involved with us. We do not support George Soros, all right? We don't care what he's into. He's a piece of shit. So George Soros, he doesn't have to be in this conversation. And if you put him in this conversation, you're just finding more ways for the left to try to link us, which is probably the left's plan and your plan anyway, because Nazis and lefties are pretty similar. 3, because to stop the wake-up process, an American president signed an executive order to protect the Jews and their lies and manipulations. So what could possibly go wrong for Trump? And then they post the Trump White House archives where President Trump signed an executive order protecting Jews, which MAGA supports. MAGA supports President Trump protecting the Jews. So through their BS, they're just proving more and more that I'm right and they're wrong. They're proving more and more that they have a connection with the left, a connection with the FBI. They're proving more and more that they have a connection with the people that were against Trump. And they're proving more and more that people in MAGA have nothing to do with these scumbags. Plain and simple. As you can see, just like BLM, these hateful neo-Nazis used memes, bogus websites, and made up or twisted facts to justify their hateful agenda. It's blatantly disgusting and provides the left with ammunition to use against good Republicans, conservatives, and libertarians. And now for my favorite article, Hiding Behind Christ. Not article, but I'll call it the section. Hiding Behind Christ. The most frustrating component of this Nazi infestation is their constant referencing of Christ and the Bible. The reason it is frustrating is because they are not true Christians. You're not. None of you Nazis on Gab. None of you white supremacists on Gabs, you anti-Semite fucks on Gab that messaged me. You are not true Christians. You do not know Christ. It is not in your future to be saved or to go to heaven. You are construed. You are misinterpreting things. You are brainwashed. You are controlled by the left. You are controlled by the left, neo-Nazis, shown through the cooperation of the FBI and the Nazis in the first place. These people are heretics in the sense of Sodom and Gomorrah, and per biblical standard would not be welcome into the kingdom of heaven. They subvert God by acting as righteous judges. The fact that they masquerade as Christians allows the mainstream media to build a false comparison between Christian Nazis and true Christian Trump supporters. This is how narratives are built and used against the MAGA movement. And here are just a few of the examples of this hypocrisy. This is coming from @NordicWolf. He's posting from to @Imperial Tsar. Yes, God created all life on earth. N-word and Jews are not human. They are whatever they are. And I am not white. I am Scandinavian. I am not German. I am not a Slav. I am not Sami. I am not Finn. I am not the Basque. I am a fucking Scandinavian dumb fuck. You are a Scandinavian dumb fuck. Fuck any god that tries to kill my people and their humanism. Wow. This is from Imperial Tsar. No god created whites. No, he should have put a comma. God created whites. Well, he created humans, but fallen angels mixed with them and became an abomination. Whites he created as his people with simple instructions to not mix the race. As we can see, Esau, a fornicator, why he took 2 Canaanite wives. He race mixed and so his offspring are the present Jews and we hate them. And he put a bunch of little freaking memes here to prove his point. Wow. Memes and pictures. Good job. @Cotton Friend, this is N Tower developer, says American Reveille If there were an honest nose the world over, he used nose to refer to Jews, you'd have been a Christian 2,000 years ago. Get with the program. You will confess to King Jesus in the end, like it or not. Now check out this based as fuck solo. And he's got a guy playing the trumpet with a Nazi banner and a little kid wearing a freaking Auschwitz uniform with the freaking Star of David on his chest. It's disgusting. Look, here's Tabby. She has a swastika on her profile. She looks like a young girl. Her tag is @GamerNerdist. Let me read this to you and make it clear to any lefties listening or any people on the right that think there are Nazis that have infiltrated. They haven't. They work with the left. I'm an anti-Trump Christian, constitutional conservative. She doesn't even know what she is. She's not a Republican or a Democrat. Anti-feminist, anti-MGTOW, male feminism, anti-BLM, anti-Antifa, anti-alphabet people, anti-mask, anti-COVID vaccine, pro-white. I love hunting, fishing, gaming, SpaceX, and NASA. Do you see this? They make themselves appear very similar to people on the right. But in fact, this is all lies. This is all bullshit. These Nazis are left-wing lovers. They are left-wing lovers. They are distributors of hate. They are distributors of division and confusion. They don't even know what they are. And if you look at any one of these dozen people that I showed you, and there were hundreds of people. Trust me, you can just go and find them. It never ends. All of them mention Christ, mention they're Christians, mention they're protecting the word of God, which gives the left the opportunity to take the narrative and lump them in with the good Christian men and women, the good Jewish men and women, the good Catholic men and women, the good Muslim men and women, the good men and women in general that reject tyranny and just want to be free, just want to make America great again, just want Donald Trump to come in, crush the left, crush the extremism, and let our freaking normal lives come back and let us go back to existing in a free, fun, fair society where we actually give a shit about each other as Americans and we aren't wrapped up in this whole critical race nonsense. We want wokeism to go away. We want far left extremism to go away, which includes Antifa, which includes BLM, and to me, with all the connections that I see, should include neo-Nazis. They can claim they're far right crazy people all they want. They're leftists. They act like leftists. They smell like leftists. They complain like leftists. These satanic neo-Nazi devil worshipping fucks are leftists. In the end, my hopes for this article are simple. Show the world where the cockroach infestation is and provide a differentiation between them and us. Donald Trump received over 74 million votes in the 2020 election, and if you count the fraud, likely much more. Out of those 74 million, considering the evidence I've presented above, there are 0 Nazi representatives in the MAGA movement. The Nazis have more in common with the left. They're extremist groups like BLM and Antifa and the Squad. They exist to spread fear and chaos, distribute false propaganda, and divide blacks, whites, Christians, and Jews. We are above these people. We're better than these people, and they do not represent our shared Judeo-Christian values that bring us together as Americans. Maybe there's a deeper meaning behind Dan Bongino's disregard for Gab CEO Andrew Torba. Maybe Andrew has a secret that we should know about. All I know is that time reveals all, and only time will tell. I have shown you the rat's nest, folks, and now the rest is up to you. Folks, we've established a connection between the FBI and the Nazis. You know who the FBI works for. You know they protect Biden. You know that they protect these radical left extremists. And now it looks like either there's a bunch of confused Nazis out there, or they willingly work with the left. Either way, understanding, seeing it, coming to a conclusion, that's up to you. I'm just presenting you with this information so that you can take it and figure it out for yourself. Guys, do me a favor. Subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, share. Visit all the social media you have. I'm American_Reveille. That's Reveille everywhere. You can go on getter.com, American_Reveille, Rumble. I'm on YouTube. I'm still on Facebook and Twitter, even though I'm shadow banned to hell. So I'd prefer that you would find me on one of the alternate platforms. We'll see how long I'm on gab.com. Maybe Andrew Torba will kick me off after he finds out how honest I was in my article about his little group here. Folks, please help us out. Support us. Go to AmericanReveille.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Donate if you can. Push us forward. If you have any skills, if you can finish up our WordPress site, that would be freaking helpful. We're always recruiting more writers. We're always recruiting more talent. If you have a podcast, you're working a show that's up and coming, and you want to work with us, let us know. James Lane at AmericanReveille.com, and I will see you on episode 170 of the American Reveille Podcast next Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's every single Sunday. Thanks for watching, guys, and let me know what you think about the episode in the comments below. Bye. Hey, folks, can you do me a favor? I'd really appreciate it if you'd head over to MeWe. That's MEWE.com. And you can find me there at American_Reveille. That's right, at American_Reveille. It's very, very simple. That's REVEILLE. That's MeWe.com. MEWE.com. You can find it below in the description section. I'm really trying to get you guys to get on as many tech platforms as possible. You never ever know when I will disappear from one or another. I'm already shadow banned everywhere you look. And just to suggest another alternate platform, I've suggested Odyssey. I've suggested Gab TV to you, but I'm also on Rumble. I'd really like to see more people coming to find me on Rumble. You can go there. That's rumble.com, RUMBLE.com. And I'm there just like I'm everywhere else, and that is American Reveille, AmericanReveille. All right, please subscribe, follow along, and hit me up on Rumble. Okay, guys, for some reason, they don't put you in the algorithm unless people from an outside source come and find you, okay? Or it takes them way too long to monetize it. I don't know how it is, all right? But Rumble has really shown a weak presence, and I'd like to see more people checking me out there. So if you could do me that favor, I would greatly appreciate it. Again, that's American Reveille, REVEILLE on Rumble.com. You can find that below, of course, below in the description section. And if you could head over to AmericanReveille.com. All right, AmericanReveille.com, REVEILLE.com. You can check everything out there. We've had a new website in the making for a long time. I do apologize. It's been a very difficult time transitioning over, getting things updated. We've had a lot of inflow and outflow, a lot of turnover, people coming and going. So, things have been delayed, but the old website is just as good. It's up and running. It's hot and heavy. You can check me out there, AmericanReveille.com. I would like to ask you two favors. All right. One, hit the sign up tab right there and sign up for the American Reveille newsletter. Every week, I'll let you know the different articles, blogs, the different podcasts that came out, and we'll even send you a monthly update to what we're doing with the company, different things that are coming out. We'll never bother you. We'll never solicit you for anything crazy, any money or anything like that. We just want to inform you of what we are doing. So I would greatly appreciate it. Sign up for the newsletter at AmericanReveille.com, or just go in the description section below and hit the little button that says newsletter, right, guys? And if you really love what we're doing, and you've already liked and subscribed and followed along, and you're already looking on social media, and you'd like to be a part of what we're doing, and you would love to help us out, please go to the tab up top that says support us. It's also in your description section below. There's an option to give us a couple different types of cryptocurrencies, or you can click that button that says support us. A little tab will come up, and you can donate $1 amount to the American Reveille, and we'll put every every red penny of that right into the American Reveille so we can expand our operation. We greatly appreciate it. We need your help. I have been running this thing out of my bank account, and I am running low on funds. All right. I'm doing everything I can to support the company, but we do need your help. So if you could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, greatly appreciate it. And of course, we need your help. All right. We could always use your help. I need folks that are good at WordPress. I need folks that are good at growing communities, social media folks that can help me build the American Reveille into a large, expansive community. If you have experience with that, please hit me up, James Lane at AmericanReveille.com. We are trademarked. We are an LLC. I am always looking for bloggers. I'm always looking for writers, always looking for new talents. If you have a podcast or you have a different show, something that you're trying to get across on YouTube, but you're shadow banned and nobody's seeing it, and you want to get under the American Reveille umbrella, we want to build, grow, and expand. All right, guys. So get a hold of us. This is an opportunity to get in on the ground floor level. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to grind at this thing till it explodes. James Lane at AmericanReveille.com. In the meantime, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this episode. I want to thank you so much for watching this clip, this publication, whichever way you are viewing, whether you're watching, whether you're listening, however you got a hold of us. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of the American Reveille family, and I will see you next time. Bye.